All right, so I wanted to welcome everyone to our call today. This month's technology update is going to cover the WalkMe online training tools. I'm sure you've seen there. Um, so, and the format of these is usually the same. We usually hold questions till the end. If people can mute themselves during the call, unless they have questions there at the end, then that is helpful. Just because of the number of individuals that we sometimes can get on these calls. Um, so let me then tell you kind of what we're going to cover on our call today. I'm going to do our standard member nation update, just let you know kind of where we're at, give you a look at the roadmap, and then we'll dive into the WalkMe tool. So what is WalkMe? I'm going to give you an overview of the tool itself, and I'm going to give you a demonstration of what that looks like. And then we'll talk about what's next, the timeline for releasing this out to you, and then the steps that you'll follow to download it once that is available. So our Member Nation update, as always, this roadmap is available on the Society Center, but I like to give just a quick overview of where we're at on these calls. So you can see we're obviously just finishing up the July through September piece. So we've been working on the scholarships portion of the tool, and also the member app, adding society events to the member app. So that's been released and out there. And then you can see that through all of the next several months, we've got the society feedback enhancements that are always being looked at and incorporated into some of our platform changes there. And then through the rest of the calendar year, we'll have some different platform adjustments. So the single sign-on functionality, event API that will allow societies to pull event information onto their websites, enhancements to the event tool, so things like automated cancellations and refunds, incorporating the SMSS tool into kind of the Member Nation technology system, sharing the visibility of outreach contacts. So you can see there some of the functionality that will incorporate, and then in early 2018, some functionality surrounding the profile. So the ability for individuals to go in and see their event history, their membership status, do things like membership transactions within the system. And you can see again some of those changes there, and for some of these there's kind of a step one, and then there will be a step two later where we incorporate local only contacts into some of those systems functionality as well. So that's, again, just a quick update on where we're at with the project as a whole. But again, you can always find more information about the specifics on the Society Center. But for today, we wanted to go over the WalkMe tool. So what is this WalkMe thing that we keep talking about? It's an online training tool, and it's actually embedded within the Member Nation interface. So unlike our traditional training materials where you have to go to the Society Center, see the materials, read them there, and then go back to the Member Nation system to work on what they've told you how to do. This is actually within the system itself. So it's actually step-by-step guidance for mastering the Member Nation functionality. So going in and actually setting up your event while it actually walks you through the steps of doing that. You can kind of toggle this off and on. So once you're familiar with setting up an event, you don't necessarily have to follow every single step. You don't have to have the system on the screen there walking you through it. And there are these kind of help bubbles that you can see, and those are always going to remain visible. So so that if you do have a question as you're looking through there, you can always click on those and see some additional details about the different fields that are available there. So the current processes that are covered with the WalkMe tool, you can see them listed here. It's kind of the basics of creating your events. So creating an event, setting up the event details, setting up your ticket types and price rules, venues, speakers, and then how to actually configure the pages for the way that you want your event to look. You can see that there's a help, kind of a help list, so that if you are looking for a specific functionality, you can type it in there and find it, or you can click on the specific help item that you're looking for. Or on the tasks side over here, if you were to click there, it has essentially kind of a checklist, and it will sort of check off the pieces that you've already completed to help you make sure that you've followed all of the steps there for setting up your event. All right, so that is, a quick overview, but to really understand what this tool is going to look like, giving you a demonstration is going to be a lot more useful for actually seeing what it looks like. So you can see here that on my standard Member Nation interface, you've got this Walk Me Through button that appears down here. So that's going to be your first indicator of something that's different. So when you click on that, you'll see essentially what we just saw on the slide. So you've got your list of the different steps and processes that you can click on here. And again, you've got the tasks list on the left-hand side. So to start here, if you say that you want to create an event, it's going to essentially walk you through the process. So we're just going to kind of follow the steps that it takes here. So it's telling us we're going to click New to start our process. And if it's going to come up for me, there we go. So for those of you who have already created events, this is what's in the background is going to look familiar, but it's got this overlay with your training information there. So you can see that it's telling you that required fields are going to be marked in red. And this basically tells you essentially how to fill out this form. So for setting up your new event, obviously you're going to need to click Create Event from Scratch. And then it's recommended that you change your style to Lightning. And then it tells you to hover over any of the little question bubbles for any additional information. So it's explaining about the Lightning event tool. Some of these are the native Member Nation tools that are there as well. And then you can so it essentially was going to tell you how to go through and fill out your information there. And then it tells you when you're done with that, click Save and Continue to go on to the next screen. Then here it's telling you you've essentially completed the first process. So now it's time to set up the information for this event. So click Next to continue. Or if you are done with what you want to do for right now and you want to come back to this later, you can always click Cancel. So we're going to say that, yes, we want to go to Next. So it's telling us click Event Info. So we're going to click there. And again, it's telling you to complete all the required fields that are marked in red, and that you can hover over any little question bubble for additional information, and then click Next to continue. So we're going to go ahead and fill out the details. Again, if you were brand new to this, you would be able to follow through all of these and see what you need to do here. And again, you would be looking for your red asterisks or for any help bubbles that have information about what you're looking for and what you need to fill in. For our purposes here, we'll just kind of do the basics here. I'm going to go ahead and click Next. All right. And you always, at the top, you always have this Show Me Now, or Show Me How option here that will tell you also, it'll kind of bring up this little reminder there if you need that to show up there. All right. Then we can see if we want to go to our ticket types option here. Going to tell us how to basically complete that next process. It's going to tell us to create or click our new ticket type, enter the name of the ticket, and sort of tell once you've finished typing something in there. So, and here it's telling you, if you wanted to add a questionnaire, the form functionality, you could fill that in here. But if you don't need one, then you can just go ahead to the next option. And here it tells you if you want to do early bird or on-site pricing, you can fill that information on this tab. Otherwise, move on to the next screen. Fill in your accounting fields on the accounting screen. And if you don't need to configure tax information, then you can move on to next. And then click Save and Continue. So now it's again letting you know that you've completed the next process. You've set up your ticket type. So then you can go in to set up price rules, or if you want to do that part later, again, you can always cancel out. So we'll go ahead and say, sure, we want to do our price rules. So we're going to hover over the icon and then click Edit Price Rules. So here it's going to tell you that the name and price fields auto-populate based on the default ticket price. Then you can click Next. So to add a new price rule, you would go up here and go to Save and New. And then it's telling you that you can see now that it's added our new price rule. So you can complete the top section here to add a new price rule. So for the example here, we'll put CFA candidates and then check our Is Active button. Add our price. We'll say that it's $10 for candidates and click Next. And then you can see that it's telling you to fill in all of the criteria for your for this particular price rule. And again, you always have your little question bubbles that you can hover over to learn what these different fields are all about. So here we can whatever badge types are the appropriate ones for this particular price rule. Click Next. If you want to add additional price rule criteria, you would click Add Rule here, or you can click Next to continue. And then here you can see it's telling you to click Save and New if you'd like to add more price rules, or if you're done, then you can hover over this and click Save and Exit. Now it's telling you finished setting up your price rules. Now it's time to click, it's time to set up your venues. So you can click Next. And it's telling you, because when you go to your price rules, it brings up a whole new window. It's telling you need to now navigate to an event page, and guidance will resume when you reach one. So we need to go back to our original event page here. And should kick in here. Here we can just go ahead and launch into the venues functionality here. So here it's telling us to click Add Venue to start our venue feature. And again, it's telling you to complete all the fields below. And again, you've always got your help bubbles here. So we're going to call our venue. If you have any other description details about the venue, you can input that information here. Browse to find an image of your venue. Oh, and if you can actually, if you click Next, then it's going to tell you the next things. And then here it says, when you're done, click Save and Continue. So we'll do that. And you can always add additional venues if you have more than one for your particular event. And then once you're done setting up all of your venues for the event, you can click Next. Now it's letting you know that you've finished setting up your venues and you can now work on speakers. So you can click Next, or obviously cancel if you are not ready to set up your speakers. So here we'll click our speakers, click New Speaker. And again, it's basically telling you to fill in the different fields and hover over the question bubbles for additional information. And again, we'll just put the basics in here, but obviously if you were filling this out for a real event, you would fill in more details than I am here. And then it's telling you, once you're done filling in all of the different details for your speaker, you can click Save and Continue. And just like with the venues, if you have more speakers, you can always click New Speaker to add more. Otherwise, we'll click Next. So now it's telling you finished setting up your speakers, and the next step is to set up the events pages. You can either click Next to do that or click Cancel. And as we saw, there is more functionality within Member Nation than we have processes set up yet with the WalkMe. So we'll be adding to those as we go along. But these were kind of the highest level sort of criticality we thought to start with. So obviously there are still some things that you might need to do outside of the WalkMe functionality, and you can always refer to the training materials or get information on those from me if you need to. So we'll go ahead and go into set up our pages. And here it's telling you that these five tabs are going to appear on the page from left to right. You can drag and drop to change their order. You can see the little graphic there that's showing you how to do that. And then to change any of them, you click on this pencil icon. And you can see, again, you have the ability to drag and drop the components that you want to incorporate on that page. And then once you're done, once you've got this set up the way you'd like, you can click Save and Close. And then it's going to let you know edit as many pages as you like. When you're finished editing, change the statuses from active to closed. And then here it's telling you that you can also click the trash can icon if you want to delete any of these tabs if you don't want them there. And essentially what you're doing here is configuring the way that this event is going to look when it's in the closed status. The pages will still be on the event, but they will not be immediately visible. And again, you could do the same thing here as you did on your active page. You could click the pencil icon and edit any of these that you do want to be displayed. Then we can click Next. And it says, congratulations, you've finished setting up pages for your event. And then essentially those are the processes that we have laid out already. There's also kind of this ticket types mini menu, so that mini menu that you can use if you are in the middle of doing either a ticket type or a price roll and you want to kind of jump into that piece. So, but those are essentially the steps there that we've got laid out, and the way that the WalkMe will walk you through that process. Again, we'll be adding to these as we go and making any changes or enhancements. And obviously as any functionality changes, then we'll be updating that as well. So what are the next steps then? So early October, probably next week, we will be actually rolling this out in production so that it'll be available to everyone who's currently onboarded and using Member Nation. So all onboarded societies will receive an announcement by email letting you know that this is available. And it will include instructions for downloading the WalkMe tool. It's essentially kind of a plugin for Google Chrome. And you go to the link that will be in the email and you download the extension. And then once you refresh your screen, then those WalkMe buttons will show up right away. So it's very easy, very quick to download that. And so again, it'll be as soon as next week that you'll receive that information about the tool and can start using that. So then, in addition to WalkMe, more information for you on resources and also what's coming up as far as training. Obviously, you can always go to the Society Center to find out exactly where we're at with Member Nation, again, and the whole technology project. You can see the information there, again, about the roadmap. You can always email Society Tech if you have any questions. And then we'll obviously be having our next monthly call at the end of October. And what we'll probably be covering on that call, at least as far as I've determined at this point, is Content Builder and Marketing Cloud. So for those of you who have used Marketing Cloud or have looked in Marketing Cloud, So far, we have only been able to use the classic style of email marketing tool to actually create your messaging, which is a little less user friendly than the content builder, which allows you much more flexibility for dragging and dropping components and getting your emails to look exactly the way you'd like. We're actually going to be upgrading so that we're able to use that content builder going forward. So and we're actually probably going to be uploading that or upgrading that within the next, I would say, week or two. So we'll have more information about that upgrade coming out, but then we'll have some official training information probably on that October call, unless we do something sooner than that, and then we'll cover something else on that call. So, all right, so those are the basics of what I wanted to cover here. So let me see if we have any questions that have come through on chat. Or if anyone wants to just raise some questions here. There aren't too many of us, so I think we can probably take calls verbally if anybody has any questions they'd like to bring up. I'm not seeing any chat questions, and I'm not hearing any questions at this point. Oh, I take that back. So we've got some positive comments from Mark, so that's good. Yeah, I think Mark says it's great for someone who doesn't necessarily set up events that often, and I think that's really true because even if you've gone through the full training, if you don't set up events, if you only set up events every few months or something like that, then it's easy to forget kind of what all of the steps are. So I think this is really helpful, especially to have it right there in line and not have to print out things and read through them while you're trying to set things up. So. Any other questions or comments or anything else I can help with today? All right. If not, then I'll give you back some time in your day and we will talk to you again next month.